city was suggested to me that the city should put a vote to the people for Rec Park and develop Rec Park like Ada. I had that request submitted, I had that suggestion given to me just the other day. And I was like, I don't know. But someone is pretty interested in doing that.
Even though the whole thing's in the floodplain?
What's that?
Even though most of it's in the floodplain?
Ada did it. They're responsible. Ada did it. Just we can do it too.
Yeah, we don't have ample.
Well, that's kind of what I reminded them.
Are there any other threats on anyone's list that we have not yet discussed? If not, what we're going to do, so there's obviously been a lot of discussion here. So we have on the screen here, the reason why I have this site up is we'd like to, I mentioned earlier that I want to prioritize some of these, both opportunities and threats. So on your phones, we have a website that we want you to log into and sort of type in what you have for both opportunities and threats, not all of them, just 3. So what we want you to do is on the flip side of your worksheet, there's a QR code that you can scan, or if you just want to go to the site directly without scanning, just go to the site menti.com, MENTI.com, and then it'll ask you to enter like an 8-digit numeric code. And that's written on your worksheet, or you can see it on the screen up there. So if you just go to that site and type in the code, it'll bring you to like to a home screen.
So you can do this on a laptop, a computer, your phone. Does anyone not have any of those devices with them? Just making sure.
Right now, it's in the other room.
I can grab my phone too if you want to take it on this. That's totally fine. I just want to make sure that we're all set up, so.
Then if you want your,
Sure. And if anyone has some issues, raise your hand. Danny and I can walk around and help you guys set up.
It's not asking me to do anything.
Nope, it won't. So you should just see, does it show this site
Should
name?
be this. Yes.
Yeah.
see a little master plan?
Yep.
And so so when I advance the slides on the computer here, it'll move it forward on your phone screen too.
Here you go.
And
So
so
here,
we'll
I'll
have-
show how that is just a moment.
So-
Okay.
So for everyone,
So it's gonna come up?
Yep, it'll pop up.
So you're
Okay.
controlling
We're
our
on the
screen.
Yep.
Okay. Otherwise, we're not here. Okay. Is everyone logged in? Does anyone need help?
QR codes.
Yep, so it's 437.
I know.
Yep, 0491. Oh, this looks like, actually, cancel this real quick. I think you're not connected to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's what,
Yeah, it looks like I'm
It's the same
working on
screen.
it. Do you mind refreshing? Let's try that. 437. Oh, those are just placeholders, so if you start typing, that'll speak. 378 049. Hit join. There we go. Okay.
all right, so for everyone, so we're gonna do like a little testing here. So I'm gonna skip to the next slide. It'll ask us, so we want you to just to vote for whichever of the 3 dog pictures that you like best. So this is
There we go.
just so what's cool about this is we can see in real time what you all are voting for on the screen. This just kind of lets us see that it's working correctly, and that everyone's able to use it. So we have 6 participants. There's 7. All right, so now what we're going to do is kind of go through, so we all have our list of opportunities and threats. Hopefully on all of them we've talked about. If you've like I said, if somebody else has mentioned something that you like, we want you to sort of give us your top 3 opportunities. So for now, just in a few words, you don't have to write a whole paragraph or anything. Out of your list or out of anything that anybody else said on the opportunity side, type in kind of your number 1 biggest, most important, highest priority opportunity that you have in your mind right now.
And so just for clarification, you'll send these as 3 separate priorities. Oh,
Yep.
this is just top priority.
Yep, so this
Sorry.
is just number 1 priority, and then the next slide will be number 2.
You are.
So, yep, and then again, it'll populate the list in real time here.
Just one?
Just one. So now, so if you have, 10 things on your list, we're gonna make you choose between all those items. You gotta narrow it down to just your number 1.
Everyone good? Just have to hit the submit button on the bottom. All right.
Okay. Then now we're just gonna, so we have camping, a couple comments on housing, walkability is on there, so it's a lot of what we talked about. And so this is all helpful for us because we get to sort of see, we can see what you guys write, what the planning commission write, what council will write eventually, and others to kind of, we typically like to see some ideas percolate up to the top that are common across all of these boards. So now same thing, just with your number 2 opportunity, same as before, just in a couple of words, type it in. We've got some sort of common threads here related to downtown, second-story apartments, fairgrounds, natural features, natural resources. Then last one on the opportunity side, pick your number 3.
So this will be the last opportunity you get to submit.
Yep.
So choose wisely.
Yep. So then we're seeing walkability coming up on some lists again, camping, housing. So, yeah, as I kind of mentioned before, as I was listening to you guys talk, we're hearing some common threads here and there, some similar ideas and topics. So now we're going to turn it over to the threats side of things. So same thing. We're gonna look at our lists and then what is the biggest, most serious threat that you see facing the community? Traffic, vacant buildings, overdevelopment, housing affordability issues, cost of basically everything nowadays. Yeah, these are really good. All right, your number, same thing, what's your second priority threat? We have traffic congestion, speeding, coming up on here a few times. Imposition of rules by the state. Infrastructure costs. Dogs.
Dog toilets.
All right, and then the same thing, your third priority threat. This is the last threat you're gonna be able to type into, so if there's something that hasn't made your list yet, now would be a good time to add it to the list. Green space. Out of scale development. Lack of funds to do all the stuff we want to do, uncontrolled growth. Lower housing, future parking plan. Alright, so I think that's for everyone, this is a really good list. It's helpful for us, so again, as we work through this process, you're sort of thinking in the back of our minds about what you guys are telling us and what other boards are telling us. This is going to be helpful moving forward. The last step of this activity this afternoon is going to be to try to craft a vision statement. So right now in the 2007 master plan, there is a vision statement in there. And it reads that Lowell will be a city of citizens who work with each other and with our neighboring communities to keep our small town character and maintain quality services. We will have a strong sense of community in order to address the problems and opportunities created by the growth that will occur in the region. That's what we currently have in the 2007 master plan. So my question for you is, do you think that statement still reflects your vision for Lowell today? And you have choices of yes, or no, or sorta. So we have 4 yeses, 2 somewhats, and 1 no. So it sounds like this is still pretty representative of what you all have in mind. Is there anything that we would want to change or modify to that, or any way that we could improve upon it? Our last step here is to kind of come up with a new, or in this case perhaps modified vision statement, and most of you are sort of comfortable with what is currently in place. Is there anything that you would change to that, or maybe something that you would add to strengthen it to make it more in line with what you have for a vision for Lowell? This is just an open question, so anyone just feel free to jump in.
Can you put the vision statement up there again so we can see it? My first thought was, wow, we're moving away from that a lot by adding a lot of the things we wanted were population growth. I agree with this statement, but it seemed like some of the things we talked about were a shift away from that if we weren't careful with some of the threats.
Right.
I don't think you're a small town anymore.
Right?
A lot of the stuff we talked about, kind of envision encouraging people to get outside, move around. Does that go into that statement at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can, right? So we can talk about, you know, activity or vibrancy or, you know, being lively and walkability, and a lot of these things, you're right, they do involve a more active and vibrant community. So yeah, you could absolutely add some some kind of word like that into a revised vision statement that describes the community as one of vitality, or whatever word you want to use, but something that sort of communicates that concept. I think that's a really good observation. Is there anybody else that wants to jump in or add anything to that?
I have one addition, and that would be to add, with our neighboring communities and our neighboring municipalities, need to work together more. With that, I gotta leave it. Well, communities, I think of communities as Ada, Saranac, Alto. But I think there needs to be more stress on getting along with our Virgins Township, Little Township, our neighboring municipalities. That's what my thought is.
Yeah.
Townships, yeah. Well, that's what I meant, was the townships.
Any other comments or additions to what we have?
More things you want to take out?
Yeah.
Do you think that was supposed to be?
Well, I guess technically, but I think we forget about getting along with townships. And they forget about getting along with us.
We did talk a lot about bringing other people into the community with the outdoor events and that sort of thing, and this really centers on us, where some of the things we talked about centered on the broader community. I guess that would go into some of the municipalities as well.
Yeah, refine it however it sounds, but I just want to stress that townships are also municipalities.
Maybe more like visitors, right?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Well, I mean, we could add something in there that talks about it being a welcoming
Yes.
community, or
Open and welcoming or something.
Who said this was going to be a short meeting?
I know.
I know,
I never
already
said
emailed.
well, I told you that we were going to use about an hour on this, and we're about there.
When we were at lunch.
So I'm just kind of jotting down some thoughts here on how we could modify that statement. So if we said that instead of Lowell will be a city of citizens, we could say that it will be a vibrant and welcoming community, perhaps. Do we like the who will work with each other and with neighboring communities, or maybe neighboring municipalities, to Rick's point?
I think neighboring communities, they get the gist of it, that it's, whether it's the township or,
Or the people,
Yeah.
I thought the same thing, that's my question.
How about just neighbors with our, the neighbors of our, I don't know, I guess that doesn't quite get it either.
Citizens who work with each other and with our neighbors,
Yeah.
period.
How about to keep our small town character and maintain
Yeah.
quality services? That still applies? Okay. So we will have a strong sense of community in order to address the problems, opportunities created by the growth that will occur in the region. We talked about adding maybe some additional context for recognizing that the community is walkable, outdoorsy, event-based, those types of things.
He mentioned vibrant, welcoming, and active or
Or we could say something like, we will, be a walkable and active community. And walkability came up a bunch of times, sort of as you were all talking. So that's something that you could add in there in the second part of the statement.
Yep.
And then so the last part of this, it talks about, to address the problems and opportunities created by the, should we address that in some fashion, or should we, mean, it's an interesting statement to me, and, you know, sometimes the vision statements don't really talk about problems sometimes, but I think it also sort of acknowledges that there are challenges associated with being a desirable city like Lowell is, and we've seen the growth in the area.
What if we said in order to address the changes created by growth? Because
Take
that's,
the word problems out of it.
yeah, it's positive and negative, but
If we say like it'll be a, you know, walkable and active city who will address the changes, you know, created by growth in the region, something like that. So I have written down here, Lowell will be a vibrant and welcoming community who will work with our neighbors who will work with our neighbors to keep our small town character and maintain quality services. We will be a walkable and active city who will address the changes created by growth in the region. Am I missing anything from that? You have a
Say it again.
Lowell will be a vibrant and welcoming community who will work with our neighbors to keep our small town character and maintain quality services. We will be a walkable and active city who will address, that will address.
How about work with ourselves and neighbors?
Work together, maybe?
Yeah.
Is there another word for region? I mean, you know, small town, I don't know. Anything with region,
Where that
Community.
Yeah. So we can say who will work together and with our neighbors to keep our small town character and maintain quality services. Will be a walkable and active city that will address the changes created by growth in the community. Is that? Are we
It seems
comfortable with
really
that?
long, is my first impression, is
It
that's
is.
a really long,
Might break it up into
Mission
some
statement.
sentences.
Yeah, and I mean, so this is, again, we're gonna get, so the planning commission came up with one, you guys came up with one, the city council will come up with one, the parks board will come up with one, and we're gonna, as we work through this process, we're gonna try to,
marry it together.
yeah, sort of put all that together into something that reflects, hopefully, a little bit of what everyone has to say, into kind of a more unified concept, so. I think I have this written down here, I don't know that we need to worry about typing it in right now, because it sounds like we're running short on time.
Yeah.
So I'm all set from here. So thank you for indulging me here in going through this process. It's been helpful for us as we move forward with the project. And if there are any questions for me, I'd be happy to chat after the meeting, but otherwise, I guess I'll turn it over to whoever's going to be acting chair
I will quickly collect all of your
to
worksheets.
yeah, save your worksheets,
If
we'll
you
draft those.
would like to keep them, just make sure you get a picture.
Do you have anything else, Mike?
No, I don't. I gotta figure out how we're gonna pay for all each one.
Yeah.
So,
All in favor of adjourning?
I think we should welcome Lisa. I think this was her first day, so I think
Yeah.
you broke her in good, huh?
Welcome.
nice to meet you.
We're usually at this one.
Okay, good to know.
And this
I know,
meeting's
it was like,
I know.
it's all good.
Motion to
I'll see everyone. I gotta go.
Second.
Aye.